Hi everyone, it's Paul. Hope you're all doing okay and loving this, the best week of the year, the Cheltenham Festival. You can only start a video for day 3 by saying what a day 2 we had today. 3 winners. Obviously the highlight's got to be Kitzbühel in the Browns, formerly the RSA. Tipped it up at 18-1, got nibbled in 12-1, did the business. And then hot on the heels of that, we had final orders in the cross country at 8-1. Led the whole way like Kitzbühel, the whole way round, jumped like a stag, amazing. And then we rounded the day out with the Morn Rambler in the bumper. I think it went off at 15-2, didn't it? It was 9-1 when it tipped it up. What a day. Even the others, to be fair, some of the others like Stormheart Run, had some bad luck in running. He run an absolute cracker. Ludesud got a place. Mansborough bombed, and his jumping didn't hold the test, which was always the concern. Shame to hear about the injury to the Nichols horse in the first, which was no drama this end. But we're getting good runs out of everything, really. So long may it continue. We obviously add that to the 3 winners. I haven't done a video since the last one I did was just before day 2. Day 1, Old Park Star, Madara, and obviously the Queen herself did the job yet again. Lossymouth, what a performance that was. But it's only half time, and we've got to crack on with day 3. And day 3 starts with the 120. Obviously, now we're back onto the new course. The race order, this opens the day is the Mers Novices Hurdle, 2 mile grade 2. Obviously, that's moved from another day as part of the shake-up. But this race for me is all about one horse, and that one horse is Bambino Fever for Willie Mullins, Paul Townend taking the ride. Willie Mullins having another unbelievable week. I think he's now on, is it 8 winners out of the 14 races? Staggering what he's doing. And Bambino Fever, I think, is a very good bet to keep the trend going. Obviously, she's known for winning the Champion Bumper last year. Started a hurdle career with a win. Next time out, got beaten on heavy ground by the re-opposing Old Shull Outlaw, but very, very impressive last time out. You can't knock her form. She likes good ground. She clearly has a liking for Cheltenham. She's by Jukebox Jury, and the dam is Midnight Way, so has got that mix of speed and stamina, and she's just an incredible horse. The danger is obviously Old School Outlaw, because Old School Outlaw does have a victory over Bambino Fever, and then went on to win a grade 3 after that as well. The problem is with this, again, and it comes down to a walk in the park, like we've seen in the opener on day 2. Very much known for stamina. Don't necessarily think the better ground is going to suit this one. There's no guarantee she won't like it. But on good ground, I just don't know if there's got to be just too much pace from the likes of Bambino Fever here. And the other thing you have to mention is how poor Gordon Elliott's form has been this week. No winners and 2 places out of 14 festival races so far, including a couple of favourites. He's not in great form. For all I think, this race doesn't seem to have a great deal of depth. But so this horse should be the main danger. Carrickmorner Spruce is interesting for Declan Queally. James Bowen as well taking the ride. It's quite an interesting combination, really. Came a runner-up in a grade 1 last time out, and that was against the men as well. So back against her own sex is very, very interesting. Goes here fresh, been off the track for 75 days. Got to have a very good chance, 10-1. And like certain bookmakers on this one are paying top 5 even on this, which is really interesting. So that's something to consider, because that's a great each-way bet. Echoing silence for de Bromhead, Henry de Bromhead, Darrow O'Keefe taking the ride. She's improved with each run. But all of those runs have been over further. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I think this is going to be a very, very pacey race, this. So this one might get caught for toe. And Charmaine de Fost is in here for Willie Mullins as well. Danny taking the ride. Only had the one run over hurdles. So not much experience, but could be anything. One who I think could run a big race at a very, very big price at 20-1 is La Conquière. From the Jamie Snowden stable. The Yard won this. God, what was it? 3 or 4 years ago with it. She's All That, I think it was called. In fact, I tipped it up on here. I was saying get on that each way for one of the to make up the frame. So he knows what to do with his mares here. A decent level of form. I actually tipped it up on the WhatsApp service last time out that it ran at Ascot, I believe it was, and just got touched off on the line. Overall, it runs to a very, very solid level of form. On a rating of 133, the heads of the market, again, are only on like 138, so she doesn't have a great deal to find. Had a lot of experience as well, had the 3 runs over hurdles. So that is, she could be quite an interesting one. As for the rest, unless there's something lurking, there's not enough solid form to think that they're going to go and challenge the principals. So for the 1, 2, 3, it's Bambino Fever from Old School Outlaw, and it's not revolutionary, but Carrickmorna Spruce as well. As I said, there's a lot of, on paper, a lot of dead wood in here, so the quality should rise to the top. The second race is now the 2 o'clock, which is the Jack Richards handicap chase, 2 mile 4. This is a very, very tough contest, this. The favourite pretty much all winter has been Regent Stroll. And I do wonder on this is because it's the same colours and very, very similar in every manner to Caldwell Potter, who won last year. Though the concern on this, again, would be the form of the Nichols horses. They haven't really been firing this week. For all, this horse is remarkably consistent. Gets in off 11 stone 5. I think he could run a pretty decent race, but there is that question mark taking the 4-1 in such a big 20 or 19 horse field on a yard that aren't really firing. Jordan's Cross is interesting in here for Anthony Honeyball. Sam Twiston Davis taking the ride. Really, really good strike rate. 3 wins from 4 this year. The one time he didn't win is when he fell, but he's bounced back with 2 wins since the fall. But he is a course and distance winner and has shown a real liking for Cheltenham. He's up in class here, but he is in off 11 stone, which is a very, very, very nice weight. And Anthony Honeyball actually won this race, or the equivalent to this race, going back about 7 years ago with Hunt Ball. I wonder if he's targeted this one here. Meet by the Sea is interesting. JP McManus owned, Ben Paulin trained, Ben Jones taking the ride. Started the season with 2 good runs, dropped him back in trip and only 6 last time. The return to 2.5 definitely seems like it will suit, and he gets in off 10 stone 13. So that is of interest as well. Also, another McManus horse, dangerous mark here, is Stencil for Noel George and Zetterholm partnership, JJ Burke taking the ride. Now, this horse was a massive fancy. I think it was 2 years ago over hurdles for the Triumph. Everyone thought Triumph Hurdle, nailed on all winter, went for trials day and just didn't perform. And since then, his career's kind of gone a bit off the rails. Tried fences, mixed it up. However, he has found his footing over fences. Came second 2 runs ago before running really, really nicely last time out, which is good. He's only 5 years old and hasn't taken a great deal of racing. The problem is, I keep going back to, was when he run at the course, and he didn't seem to enjoy the hill. So that will be a huge question mark on that. Slade Steele is interesting for Henry de Bromhead, Darragh O'Keefe. Obviously, Slade Steele a couple of years ago won the Supreme Novice. Won it really, really well in 2024. And that was his only ever run at the course, so clearly showed a liking for it. On a nice weight 11 stone 6, and he is classy. I just wonder if he'll want slightly softer ground. I know the water in Cheltenham this evening, but even with that, will it be enough? One I do like at a massive price at 33-1 is King Alexander for Willie Mullins with Danny taking the ride. He has been slowly progressing over fences. Came second on debut. And then from then came third, but tried in very decent standard of races. But each time, even though he was third, it was a better race and run to a higher RPR, which is the race and post rating. Then he went to Goran and won, and then got his higher rating again. So this horse is steadily progressing. As such, he has got in off 11 stone 4. Now, he's got a rating of 144. Which is about right, I would say, on this one. But when you think the favourite is only on a rating of 145, there's not much between them yet. One is 4-1 and that one is 33-1. I wouldn't discourage anyone having an outside bet on King Alexander, again, with many of the bookies paying top 5 or even top 6 on this. But for the win, I am actually going for 6 Mile Bridge for Fergal O'Brien, Keelan Woods taking the ride. Front runner, and I do think, especially, it's weird, front runners, they do seem to do better on the new course than the old course, I think. They are watering, but I don't think it will make a difference to the ground too much on this one. I know it's going to be hard for 6 Mile Bridge to get to the front, but he doesn't have to just outright lead. He can sit in behind, a bit like I said Old Park Star was the same. He's similar to that one there. He's won all 6 starts over this 2 Mile 4 trip. Last time out, he won a grade 1 at Sandown, which is a massively strong piece of form. And what I would say is Sandown is one of the toughest jumping tests you can get, especially with 3 railway fences and then on the bend into the pond fence. It's a tough jumping test, and he jumped it amazing. He's also a course and distance winner. So while he's got a lot of weight, 6 Mile Bridge is the only horse in the field, along with Jordan's Cross, who you can pretty much tick every single box with him. And that is why he is the selection, currently around 6-1. That's a decent price, I think. 1, 2, 3 then for the Jack Richards. I'm going 6 Mile Bridge from Jordan's Cross, and I'm actually going to put King Alexander in there as well in the 1, 2, 3, because I do think if anything could run on and improve, it most likely is him. Which brings us to the 240 now, which is the Mears Hurdle over 2 Mile 4. Obviously, the Mears Hurdle was usually on day 1. Now it's on day 3. And this is where we've got a conundrum in this one. Only 7 horses go to post in it. Now, Sunset Marquesa and Jatara look badly out of form. And Dream On Baby was beaten very, very easily by Wadu last time, and Wadu was giving him an absolute load of weight. So back on levels, I can't see that form being turned. Also, Feet of Dancer is in here for Paul Nolan. Sean O'Keefe taking the ride. He was in that same contest. When Dream On Baby came third, he was second. Again, getting weight off Wadu, but was not a patch for it. For All Feet of Dancer then went on to Doncaster and won a decent race there. That was tipped up on the WhatsApp service that day. Those who have been on it long enough will remember the dream day. Paul Nolan sent 2 over to Doncaster, and the advice was back both and do the double. And both of them won. 14-1 double, 2 wins, happy days. Take No Chances has not been in great form this year, but is a reliable yardstick to run its race. But it comes down to the top 2 in the betting, which is Wadu and Jade de Grugy. Now, Wadu is, for Gordon Elliott, the only time this horse has ever been beaten was by the Queen herself, Lossiemouth. Beat it in the Liverpool... is it called the Liverpool Hurdle, that one? Whatever it was the one at Aintree on the Friday last year. And that's the only one and only time Wadu has been beaten. And getting beaten by Lossiemouth is absolutely no disgrace. You saw what she did in the Champion Hurdle yesterday. You've seen what she can do pretty much anywhere she goes. Give her the spring and good ground. She's one of the best to mares to ever do it. So the form is very, very strong. He's obviously a course and distance winner twice, including the Martin Pipe Conditional a couple of years back. And that is always a benchmark to greatness, I always think. Look at the winners, not even the winners, and also the ones that have run well in that race. Superstar after superstar comes through that Martin Pipe hurdle. And her record is 9 out of 10, which is pretty staggering, really. The only danger is Jade de Grugy for Willie Mullins, Paul Townend. Obviously, this horse has got 2 Grade 1 hurdle wins and has even got a novice chase win. So she's remarkably versatile. She came second in this last year to Lossiemouth, which, don't get me wrong, she wasn't even in the same parish as none of them were. But on rating, it was a very, very solid run. Now, I suppose you'd say the concern is Gordon Elliott's form compared to Willie Mullins's form. However, I just think at Cheltenham on this good ground, because the one thing is Jade de Grugy has never got a win at Cheltenham, been placed there many a time, never got the win at Cheltenham. And that will be a concern. It just gives the favourable weighting to Wadu, even with the Elliott form, because I always say you've got to tick the boxes. Is the horse in form yet? Does she have the class yet? Does she like the course yet? Does she like the distance yet? And has she performed at the festival before? Yeah, she ticks all the boxes. So Wadu is the selection, narrowly, from Jade de Grugy. And for the third, I'm actually going to put in Take No Chances for the Skeltons to run a decent race. But obviously, it's only 7 horses. It's top 2. I'll be gobsmacked if it's not between the big 2 in the market. Which brings us on to the 320, which could be the most wide open championship race we'll probably ever see. And that is the Stayers Hurdle, 3 mile, Grade 1. And what a race this is. Current leader, just because there's been influxes of money for everything, is T Hoopu, the former champion, and it's understandable. 3 years ago, should have won. Davy Russell gave it a terrible ride. Got caught behind horses somehow. I still to this day don't know how he did. And got third. Eventually got the win that the horse deserved. And last year had to give way in second place, but still ran an absolute screamer. So never been out the first 3 in this race. The only time he's ever been out the first 3 at Cheltenham was when they ran him in a champion hurdle, which was... you think back now and look how good a stay is, and you think, wow, that was nuts. But obviously, he was a younger horse. He's 3 from 3 this year. They've kept him, like they always do, kept him fresh for the last 10.5 weeks for this. T Hoopu, you can usually set your watch by him. Now, one of the horses that I've seen a lot of money for it in the last few days is Cabral de Matin for Dan Skelton and Harry Skelton. Do you know what? I can't get on board with this one, if I'm being honest. Won the Relkiel 10 weeks ago at the start of the year. And that's a Grade 2 over 2 mile 4. Came very, very well clear at the end. This is another 5 furlongs, or 4 furlongs now. And that form of that race hasn't necessarily fully panned out. When he was like 9 or 10 to 1, I get that. But currently, he's just come into 7 to 2. I'm looking at it now. 7 to 2 joint favourite with T Hoopu. He's a good horse, but he hasn't been here and done it before like some of the others. Some of the others have a lot of experience. And if you look at the official ratings as well, he has £11 to find with T Hoopu just on him. And I think that's plenty short enough unless someone knows something. The other steamer of this race has been Ballyburn for Willie Mullins and Paul Townend. Obviously won really well at the festival a few years ago. It just kind of fell apart for him over fences. They've gone back over hurdles. He's winless this year. He was actually beaten 14 lengths by T Hoopu in the Christmas hurdle. I don't know if a full 3 mile on good ground is exactly what he wants, but there is money for it. But is that money just purely because, Willie Mullins has got a horse, back it blind, which, don't get me wrong, there's worse things you can do. Again, I just don't know if I'd be going 5-1 about a horse who has flattered to deceive many times. Marchantu's in here for Emma Lavelle, Harry Cobden. Really, really good winner of the Cleve Hurdle in January. Won it by 7 lengths. Imposed Trois ran on that day and I think got a bit bogged down in the ground. My worry is with this, Chantu is known for heavy and soft ground horses and he is not going to get that ground here. The horse is only 7, so there's a lot of improvement to come. And who's to say he won't go on good ground necessarily, but at 5-1, you're at the part where you can back it each way to bet to nothing, but there's a question mark. But I do think if anyone's going to improve in this field, it's him. Imposed Trois has been running in all the good races, like the long walk, the long distance hurdle. Won the long walk, in fact. I don't think he ran up to his best at the Cleve Hurdle, if you want me to be completely honest. But it was a solid race. But he is a course and distance winner. And Nicky Henderson is in form at the moment. I just don't know. I just one of those where you just get a feeling there's gonna be better horses than him in the race is what I'm kind of feeling at this moment in time. And as I learned with Kitzbühel today, sometimes you just got to go with your gut, don't you? Honesty Policy is in here for Gordon Elliott and Mark Walsh. Only 6 years old again. Very, very solid horse, but again would need to find £20 improvements on what he's shown so far. For all, I suppose you'd say for all, he could find the improvement. I just don't know if it'll come today. Home by the Lee, 11 years old, did well last time out, never won here before. He run with credit and obviously got unseated in this. I think it was last year, wasn't it? But he's struggled a bit in the grade ones now and he's just not the horse he was, I don't think. Gwenny Mayboy is just woefully outclassed, and Hewick, for all he's a great horse, he has not been in form this year, and Doddy the Great to me is just nothing more than a handicapper if you want me to be honest. But for the selection, I am going for the reigning champion, and I'll tell you for why. Darragh O'Keefe rides for Henry de Bromhead, and that is the 11-year-old Bob Ollinger. I said something before which possibly wasn't fair on the horse there when I said on Home by the Lee, he's not getting any better at 11. Well, just because you're not getting any better at 11 doesn't mean you're still not a good horse. And one thing with this Stayers Hurdle, the older horses can do really, really well in it. Big Bucks towards the end of his career was getting on, still won this race. More recent times, there was Sire de Burley, older horse, won the race. And I suppose if you go back in the day, the likes of English Drever, etc., if you're in form, and it is a race where you can be older and do well. Now, what I would say is Bob Ollinger, he just loves Cheltenham, doesn't he? He's never, ever lost here in any race, which is pretty staggering, really, when you think about it. He would have lost, don't get me wrong, in I think it was the Turners about 4 years ago over fences when Galopin Des Champs was about 20 lengths clear and fell and Bob Ollinger picked up the pieces. But there would have been no face lost losing to Galopin Des Champs. But he's just a solid horse, and his for me, the record in the spring that he has is just staggering. As I said, he's been very lightly raced this year. Came second to T Hoopu last time. Beaten fair and square, about 7 lengths. But he did beat T Hoopu last year. Good ground is the key to him. Last year, they were saying with T Hoopu, the ground wasn't soft enough for him. It's basically the same ground this year. He is in form. He loves Cheltenham. Henry de Bromhead's horses have been running well. And I just think it comes down to preference. I would rather take the 15-2 on Bob Ollinger each way, who at this time is tried and tested, rather than the likes of a Cabral de Matan or maybe a Marchantu, who both could easily win, but have got to go and make that step up. And for them to make that step up at the festival is a big ask. 1, 2, 3 then for the Stayers Hurdle. Bob Ollinger from T Hoopu, and I'm actually going to put Marchantu in there. I think if anyone's going to improve, it's most likely him. Which brings us on to the 4 o'clock, which is the Ryanair Chase, 2 mile 4, grade 1, 9 runners. And the bit that has shocked me on here, after what I said earlier this week, because even on Monday, all the vibes were he wasn't running. Our old mate John Bon is going for the Ryanair Chase tomorrow. After he won at Ascot, Nicky Henderson said, we'll probably miss Cheltenham. JP McManus said it. We'll wait for Aintree and Punchestown. But here he is in the Ryanair, which I like to see. You want to see the best horses run. It's obviously been a very, very late decision, this. Very late. Because even as late early as the weekend, when they were talking about stable squads, he wasn't even mentioned. So it's going to be fascinating to see where we go, especially because JP McManus also owns the favourite Factor File. And that's where we'll start. Willie Mullins, Mark Walsh, won Grade 1s at the last 2 festivals, won the Irish Gold Cup thing in Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival, beating the likes of Gallop and Deschamps and all the others fair and square, won this race last year where he absolutely powered clear. He goes on the ground, and I like the fact he won last time out because he'd been in the wilderness a bit since Cheltenham last year. His 3 runs before that were a 4th, a 2nd and a 6th. Wasn't in form, but since the turn of the year, he's clicked in. And again, he does seem like a good spring horse. It's pretty impossible to oppose Factor File, to be honest with you. It's not like a Madgeborough where I said yesterday, he's jumped well in one race. I don't know if I can take odds on. And he jumped like a pig in an alley for the second half of the contest and was well beaten. Factor File's been here. He's done it. The form in the book is staggering. And I think he'll take all the beating for all it's not an original selection. Banbridge is currently the second favourite at 9-2. And do you know what? He's a course and distance winner, which obviously is a big thing. He's won a King George before, touched off in a recent King George now. My problem is he's never really performed at the last couple of Cheltenham festivals. And the question is, will he go and do it again? For all saying that, he's never had this really good ground that he's going to get at the last 2 Cheltenham festivals, which I think will bring him much more into it. Now, John Bon. Oh, God. This is going to be really tricky, isn't it, for me with John Bon? Do one of those where you can't always let your heart rule your head. Does he go at Cheltenham? He doesn't not go at Cheltenham. He's just not as good here. Exactly what I said about Brighter Days Ahead in the Champion Hurdle. For all she ran a great race, and she did, she just isn't as good at Cheltenham, I don't think. And I suppose when you look at the new mark now for Brighter Days Ahead, it's lower than what she did in the last 2 runs. So, and I know it's hard to weigh up when Lossiemouth destroys people like that, but I suspect John Bon. Look, he's won here before a couple of times. He's won a couple of Schlur Chases, but it's the track only. Now, what I would say is stamina is no issue. He won the extended 2 mile 5 Ascot Chase. Really, really well beaten, like Pictor, who's earnings have gone past $1 million now, and he is a course specialist there, and stamina won the day. I think John Bon will hit the frame. I know this is a late decision, but I've just got a feeling he'll hit the frame because he seems a better horse this year than he was last year, but we'll see. The one who I think is flying under the radar a bit as well is another Mullins horse, Impere Pass. He won at this festival over hurdles a couple of years ago. He's a Grade 1 chase winner. He was brought down on his first appearance this season, which can happen, before winning emphatically the next time just under a month ago. He could be anything, and I just got a feeling. Better ground as well. I've got a good feeling he could run a big race, The other one who I can make a case for is Heartwood as well, Henry de Bromhead, Dar O'Keefe. He was second in this to Factor File last year. Largely been in good form since. He was pulled up in the race after that, but he was over the top. 2 wins from 3 this year. Likes the course. I just don't think he's a very, very solid horse. I just don't see him turning the form on Factor File, and I think there's a few more classier horses in it this year than there was last year. The rest, your JPR1s, Matata, Croke Park, it's hard to make a case for them with so much talent that's here now. But for the 1, 2, 3, I'm going for Factophile from John Bon. Oh, no, sorry. Factophile from Impere Pass. And I think John Bon might fill the places out. That one might be heart over head or head over heart, whatever way it is. But I just think John Bon is it. What I would say is for a legendary horse like him, and you saw the agony that Nicky Henderson went through with Constitution Hill, I just wonder, and I've got to say, I just wonder if he's showing all the right signs at home. I wonder if he's showing all the right signs at home, and that's why they've played this late. I.e., they've said, is he in form? And they've gone, yeah, he's bouncing. Do you know what I mean? There's something like that for it to happen, so fingers crossed. Which brings us on to the 440, which is the Permps Handicap final, a race I really don't like, I must be honest. I don't like it at all, but I'll tell you where we are on the selection, because this is another flyer, ladies and gentlemen. It is the favourite, and has been the favourite for a long time, is Supreme West for Harry and Dan Skelton. Now, this horse is 3-1, which is staggering, really, in a 24-horse 3-mile handicap. He's shown absolutely nothing at all this year, less than nothing. He's got in off 10 stone 11. I think this horse is this price purely on the basis of it's a Skelton handicapper and he knows how to pull one. But 3-1, I can't have it. I might be wrong, can't have it. Say different for Sam Thomas, Dylan Johnston takes the ride. This horse is in amazing form. Won his last 4 across 2 years, all in handicaps, all very strong at the end of 3 mile, but this looks a lot busier handicap and a lot harder. Now, Bold Endeavour is interesting for Nicky Henderson. He actually came 4th in this off over a stone heavier just 2 years ago. But his form went miles off after that. He then had over a year off the track, came back with a 3rd, but he's got in off 10 stone 6. Nicky Henderson horses are running well, but second run back, the Permps, it'll be, Nicky Henderson's done amazing training performances. This would be up there with the best of him. Electric Mason for the Gordons, Freddie Gordon riding for his dad. It'll come down to one form line, this, and that is Marchand 2. He came second to Marchand 2 here at the course. He then won a decent race at Haydock, but I think he might have shot his mark with this because he's gone up to 11 stone 1. For all, he's only 7, and I think he's got more improvement in him. I actually prefer, and this is going to sound nuts, I actually prefer the Skelton second string Ace of Spades than I do to the favourite. Ace of Spades is written by Keelan Woods. He's won 2 out of 4 this year, run well in the other 2. 7 years old, looks progressive. 11 stone 1 is a bit more weight than the other one, but he has the form in the book, and everyone knows I'm a big fan of the form. But we're going to get to, and do you know what? I could make a case for so many of these. Absolute Doyens on a 6-timer, but the Nichols Yard is not in great form, and this is a huge step up in class for me. What I would say is at a big price,